All right, heading into week 13 of the fantasy football season, I'm giving you my starts and sits at the quarterback position. This video is typically for people who are in super flex leagues, 2 quarterback leagues, or if you're streaming the quarterback position in a 1 quarterback league. Keep in mind, the Cardinals and the Panthers are on a bye week this week, so you won't be able to start Kyler Murray if you have him. But I think I have some pretty good streaming options for you here. My first start of the week is Trevor Lawrence at the Detroit Lions. This is the best matchup in all of fantasy football. The Lions give up the most points to fantasy quarterbacks, and Trevor Lawrence is coming off back-to-back games where he scored over 24 fantasy points in a 6-point passing touchdown format. In week 10 versus the Chiefs, he had 2 touchdowns, almost 25 points. Last week versus the Ravens, he had 3 touchdowns in that thriller game, and he's riding high. Zay Jones is playing well. Travis Etienne should be back and playing well. JaMychal Hasty's a nice little wrinkle there. Christian Kirk is still a reliable receiver. So he has enough weapons here. I like the matchup. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to give you another 16 to 24 point game here in week 13. All right, my second start of the week at the quarterback position is Jared Goff. Same game, same matchup, different quarterback, okay? Jared Goff versus the Jags. The Jags give up the 8th most points to the quarterback position, so this could be a potential shootout, and that's what we want for fantasy football. We want this to be a shootout. We want both Jared and Trevor to be putting up big numbers. Last week versus Buffalo, a very good defense, Jared Goff put up 21.6 fantasy points while he threw 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. The matchup is much better. Amon-Ra's healthy. Swift is getting towards being healthy. And this offense, at least, is looking pretty decent. So I like Jared Goff as a streaming option here. My third streaming option is Marcus Mariota versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers give up the 5th most points to fantasy quarterbacks. And Marcus Mariota, man, outside of 2 games this year, Marcus Mariota has not disappointed you as a streaming option. We have multiple games with 18 points, 19 points, 17 points. He's been super consistent, and he has a high ceiling because of what he does on the ground. I mean, you'll be hard pressed to find a game in which he doesn't have at least 5 rushing attempts on the ground. He's always a threat on the ground and in the air. I know we don't like watching this offense, but Marcus Mariota has been pretty consistent in fantasy football. I'm anticipating a 15 to 16, 17 point game again this week versus Pittsburgh, who, yes, have been better defensively, but they are still beatable. And I think Marcus Mariota in this offense, in this scheme, is going to be able to do that here this week. My last start of the week, and again, if you need a streaming option, Jimmy Garoppolo. I know he had a down week last week versus the Saints, but to be fair, he still played pretty decently. 15 fantasy points, 222 yards, and a touchdown. But I like this matchup. And more specifically, I like this matchup because I believe the other offense is going to be able to score points. Last week versus the Saints, you didn't really need to push the envelope all that much. And that's because they couldn't score. But now you're playing Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Tua Tagovailoa. They're going to be able to put up points, and you will have to respond to that. Meanwhile, Miami's a great matchup. They give up the 3rd most points to fantasy quarterbacks. So I think this is a fantastic matchup for Jimmy G. I'm expecting, again, like that streaming option, that 15 to 20 point game. Hopefully it's like what we saw in week 11. That would be great. And to finish the video, I'm going to give you 2 sits of the week. And these are specifically aimed towards 2 quarterback leagues and super flex leagues, okay? I don't think anyone's starting these guys in 1 quarterback format, so just keep that in mind. But my first sit is Matt Ryan at the Cowboys. It's a terrible matchup. Cowboys give up the 5th fewest points to the quarterback position. Trayvon Diggs is playing at an elite level. As much as I don't want to say it, he truly is. He's stepped up his game a lot this year. And this is not going to be good for Matt Ryan, who is one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league, playing against one of the best defensive lines in the league. My second sit is Ryan Tannehill at the Eagles. Philly gives up the fewest points to the fantasy quarterback position. It's not a good matchup. Treylon Burks is breaking out, but outside of him, there's not many good receiving options here. So if you're in a super flex league, you might look to start that wide receiver that has a good matchup instead if you can. So those are my starts and sits of the week. comment down below. Let me know what you think about them. If you like them, if you dislike them, that's fine. Let me know in the comments below. Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos,
watch it.
You can also subscribe
right now
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLand fam.